Welcome back to Say It Simple. Today we're taking a soft, slow step into a space that feels both familiar and slightly mysterious. The space inside your own mind. Don't worry, this isn't a horror movie where you open a door and find your childhood fear sitting there with a popcorn. This is a different kind of room. One with windows, one with air, one where you're finally allowed to breathe. If your mind has been loud lately or fast or dramatic, the Oscar winning kind, this episode is your invitation to sit down, exhale, and simply observe what's going on in that gorgeous, complicated brain of yours. We're talking about mindfulness, but not in the cliche, go sit on a mountain and think about nothing way. This is mindfulness for real humans, humans who overthink their overthinkings, humans who worry about texts that haven't arrived, humans who replay conversation in the shower like they're editing a movie, humans like you and me. Let's start with something simple. Your thoughts are not you. I know, I know that sounds weird, because we grew up believing everything our mind whispers, yells, or panics about. But here's the truth. Thoughts are like visitors. They knock on the door, they enter, they talk a lot, they sometimes don't take off their shoes, but you're the home, not the guest. Think of it this way. If your thoughts were a TV show, you would be the viewer, not the actor, not the director. You have a remote. You can turn down the volume. You can say, not today. I'm not watching this drama rerun again. Mindfulness isn't about stopping thoughts. If I could invent a button to stop thoughts, trust me, I would be a millionaire right now. But the mind doesn't have an off switch. It has a rhythm, a movement, a constant flow. Mindfulness teaches us to watch that flow instead of jumping into the river and getting swept away every time a new thought shows up. Jun Kabat-Zinn once said, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." And honestly, your mind has waves. Some tiny, some huge, some that looks like they are trying to drown you, but mindfulness is your surfboard. Let me guess, you probably have thoughts that feel extremely true in the moment. Things like, I didn't reply, I must have done something wrong, or everyone noticed that mistake, I'm failing behind, I'm not enough, this is going to end badly, or my personal favorite, what if this bad thing happens and then another, even though they are literally just trying to eat your breakfast? The mind loves storytelling, drama, predictions, assumptions, worst case scenarios. The mind is basically a screenwriter that never gets tired. Sometimes I feel like my brain has 12 tabs open, 6 of them frozen, music playing from somewhere I can't find, and mindfulness helps me to just step back and say, oh, my brain is doing brain things. Thoughts are events, temporary, moving like cars on the highway, and no one stands in the middle of the highway trying to stop every car. You stand on the side and watch them pass. Some thoughts go fast, some slow, some loud, some strange. But you're not obligated to chase any of them. A thought is a moment, not a fact. This idea alone can soften your whole life. Mindfulness also helps us notice something else. Most of our suffering comes not from what happens, but from what we think about what happens. A small mistake becomes a crisis. An unanswered message becomes rejection. A plan changing becomes disaster. The mind fills in the blanks like it's doing a creative writing assignment. But when we observe these thoughts instead of fuzzing with them, something magical happens. The thoughts lose their power. They become lighter, less sticky, less dramatic. You become the witness, not the character. There is a quote by Eckhart Tolle. He says, rather than being your thoughts and emotions, be the awareness behind them. That's exactly what observing thoughts feels like. Stepping into the awareness behind everything. Let's be real. Your mind isn't trying to ruin your life. It's trying to protect you. It overthinks because it wants to predict danger. It worries because it wants you to stay safe. It compares because it wants you to be accepted. But sometimes the mind goes too far. It becomes your overprotective friend who texts you every 5 seconds like, are you sure? Are you sure you're sure? Maybe don't, maybe do. Actually don't. Mindfulness steps in and says, thank you, mind. I see you, but I'm okay right now. One of the easiest ways to start observing thoughts is treating them like weather. Clouds coming and going, sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy, sometimes foggy, but no weather lasts forever, not in the sky and not in the mind. Try this little practice right now. Just notice the next thought that appears. Maybe it's about something you need to do later. Maybe it's a random memory. Maybe it's a what am I supposed to do? Noticing. It doesn't matter. Just catch it and label it. Thinking. That's it. Not this is true. Not I need to fix this. Not why am I like this? Just thinking. Labeling your thoughts gives you space between you and the thoughts. It's like stepping 1 meter back instead of standing nose to nose with your mind's panic. When you create that space, everything becomes easier. The anxiety, the tension, the pressure, the frustration. Because now you're not wrestling with thoughts, you're watching them float by. You can even get playful with it. If a dramatic thought shows up, says, oh yes, the apocalypse narrative again. Welcome back. If a self-critical thought appears, gently respond, sweetheart, we have talked about this. If a fear pops up, whisper, noted, thank you, but not now. Humor softens the intensity. It teaches you not to take every mental notification as breaking news. Let's talk about daily life for a second. How often do you go through a whole day without actually being present? You drink your coffee, but your mind is already working. You shower, but your mind is arguing with someone imaginary. You walk, but you don't notice the ground under your feet. You eat, but you barely taste. You rest, but you don't really rest. Mindfulness isn't about slowing your life down. It's about arriving in your life fully, sensitively, and kindly. Try being present in small moments. When you drink tea, just taste the tea. When you shower, feel the water. When you walk, feel your steps. When you talk, really listen. And when you breathe, just breathe. The present moment is the only place where life is actually happening. Anxiety lives in the future. Regret lives in the past. Peace lives in the present. Mindfulness is simply learning how to come home to now. Let's go deeper. When a strong emotion arises, anxiety, sadness, anger, the first place to look is not the thoughts but the body. Thoughts are tricky, slippery, fast, but the body is honest. The body says, I'm tight here, I'm warm here, I'm shaking here. Emotion is a physical event first. Instead of fighting the thoughts, breathe into the body. Often the thought calms down when the body feels safe. If your mind is a storm, your breath is the anchor. Here is something that many people don't know. Mindfulness isn't a spiritual performance. You don't have to be calm to practice it. You don't need a candle, a meditation pillow, or a perfect mindset. Mindfulness is something you do in the middle of your chaos, not outside it. You can be stressed and mindful. You can be sad and mindful. You can be overwhelmed and mindful. You can be confused and mindful. Mindfulness is not the absence of emotion. It's the awareness of emotion. Even now, I'm criticizing myself and I'm trying to focus on the present moment. So don't forget, just be present. And there's a beautiful quote by Viktor Frankl. We met with him a couple episodes ago and we talked about finding and searching the meaning of life. He said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom. Mindfulness expands that space. Instead of reacting instantly, you pause, you breathe, you observe, you choose, you reclaim your freedom. Let's imagine a very normal moment. Someone says something that triggers you. Instantly, your mind jumps into defense mode without mindfulness. You react maybe with anger, maybe shutting down. With mindfulness, you observe the trigger, you feel the emotion, you breathe, and suddenly you have options. You are not a hostage of your thoughts anymore. This is what observing your thoughts does. It returns your power. Let me offer you a small guided moment right now here. Exactly where you are, take a breath in gently, then let it out slowly. Now, notice what your mind is doing right now. Maybe it's curious, maybe it's wondering, maybe it's overanalyzing, whatever it is, it's okay. Your job is not to stop it, your job is simply to notice it. Feel the air entering your body, feel your jaw, your shoulders, your chest, the ground beneath you. Notice the hum of your thoughts, like background noise. And then imagine turning the volume down just one level. Not up, just down. That is mindfulness, that softness, that space. And now, as we move toward closing this episode, I want you to carry one simple truth with you. You are not your thoughts. You are the witness. You are the awareness. You are the one who sees. There is a calm place inside that your thoughts cannot damage. A quiet center you can return to any time. You don't need to control the mind. You only need to meet it. Compassionately, gently, curiously. Observing your thoughts will not make you a different person. It will help you meet the person you always been beneath the noise. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up yourself. And remember, in a world full of loudness, coming home to your breath is the simplest revolution. You don't have to fix every thought. You don't have to fight every thought. You just have to notice. Say it simple, feel it softer, and trust that you're already doing better than you think.